cheer who has showed up today, physically, virtually, and in spirit, for showing up in solidarity against UC system's ableist, forced reopening. UCI has demonstrated that it is not truly committed to equity and inclusive excellence. All of us, students, staff, faculty, and community members must work together to resist ableism and all other forms of oppression and marginalization.
Hello, my name is Clarissa. I'm a second-year undergraduate double major in English and Comparative Literature. I'm here today with Resist UCI to advocate for universal access of education for all students, as well as universal access of education for faculty members. And I'm here to resist UCI's ableist administration and decision in returning to in-person without consultation of students or faculty.
Hi, I'm Quin Hoffman, and I'm representing Resist UCI on February 2nd, 2022, about the walkout and the walkout regarding the return to in-person instruction.
So why is universal access necessary at UCI?
Well, I'm registered with disability services here at UCI actually, and I'm also speaking for other disabled, immunocompromised, like commuter students, international students who are having a very difficult time transitioning from online to completely in-person instruction. I believe that we should all have access to education, no matter what, social, economic, racial, sexual background that we have. And right now, UCI is not considering the concerns of students and the needs of students. And basically, we're here to advocate for people who cannot access education in light of UCI's inconsideration.
Universal access is necessary at UCI because it allows for more accessibility purposes. And people don't often think about accessibility in a lot of ways, because when things become more accessible, it becomes more advantageous and better for everyone. Accessibility is often seen as this thing that will just help disabled people or immunocompromised people or like international students. And so that's important to us, is saying, hey, even if you're immunocompromised, disabled, international, or a caregiver, or you just don't feel comfortable coming to campus, having that option will be important because it allows for the campus rather, and for the UCI administration to look at the students' concerns and be like, hey, what can we do to better the public health and the well-being of our students?
Black people die at a rate 1.4 times that of white, while Indigenous community members have died at an even higher rate as a result of COVID.
Beyond universal access, how do you think UCI has handled that pandemic in general?
I appreciate the UCI's COVID dashboard that we have. It's telling us that there are about 50 new cases every day, basically, despite us not having in-person instruction. So for the past few weeks, there have been 50 new cases every single day. That's 100 cases every 2 days, 350 cases every week, which is honestly telling us a lot about the current condition that we are in and whether we are ready or not to go back to in-person instruction. And it's also telling us a lot about the access needs of people who, cannot be exposed. As to other ways that UCI is handling COVID, I think the presence can be a lot more accommodating. For example, a lot of students are concerned with the classrooms not being cleaned after class. There's a lot of chance for contact there. There's also a lot of other campuses are offering, N95 masks and stuff like that. And I think that UCI can just generally be a lot more accommodating with these amenities. I think UCI should honestly just listen to its students more. I think that's the most important thing that we're advocating for right now.
Moreover, UCI still has not apologized for Provost Stern's false claims that student government leadership was consulted about the decision to reopen. The undergraduate and graduate student governments released a joint statement calling out the Provost's false claims.
How do you feel about the student government leaders at AGS and ASUCI not being consulted in the decision to reopen, despite the university stating otherwise?
It's incredibly frustrating in a lot of ways. By not consulting the people who are supposed to represent people like me, a graduate, an undergraduate student, and people like you, it shows that the UCI doesn't care about our health. It shows that the university is looking out for its own gain, and it's trying to force something onto people that we don't want right now. This is week 5. Like, this is not a good time to return to in-person instruction.
We came here today to stand in solidarity with students at UC Irvine who are fighting to protect themselves, their families, and their communities. It is outrageous that across the University of California, students are being forced to come back onto campus and into classes and put in a position where every day on campus is a mass super spreader event. We urge students at UC Irvine to join high school students across the country who are fighting for virtual learning and for their schools to be closed down so that we can have this part of the pandemic pass by in the safest way possible.
And how can people help? Will there be like future protests?
Yes, this is definitely an ongoing movement. We are connecting with other UC campuses who are going through the exact same thing right now. So the issue is definitely not limited to UCI. We got some people on the East Coast who are also, joining the movement of advocating for universal access in their campuses. More than just the UCI administration making this rash decision to go back to in-person without accommodating for people with online access needs. It's also just a bigger problem of the educational institution not caring for disabled bodies, immunocompromised bodies, for people who are not normal in their eyes, and for people who have special needs that extend beyond what they are currently providing. And basically they need to be more accommodating of students and listen to our concerns, because the education really is for us, how individual people can help. So we have a Twitter and Instagram, and there's a link in our bio. So it's resist_UCI on all platforms. And our email is uciresist@gmail.com is the best way to contact us through these 3 platforms. Basically, we have a link in our bio which has a link tree and links of all the things that students can do to help, or faculty. We have a Google form collecting testimonials for student experiences, which we really want to use against UCI's administration. It's all anonymous. You can choose not to divulge your information, like your name, your grade, or whatever. We just want to know people's experiences. We also have a petition for people to sign, and a lot of email templates so that people can just directly email the administration without having to craft their own thing. And any of these methods would be really great to help the movement.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to protect everyone on this campus. The UCI administration has not listened to any of our concerns. We are advocating for universal access